Well, people, look at this. As half threatened on episode 0, that was the concept of interviewing previous hosts. And look at us, we're doing it. And it's not just me. It's not just me. Look who's there, it's Dave. Dave, say hello.
Hello.
But Dave in. Not only Dave, we've got Neale. Neale, say hello.
Hi there, everyone.
Oh, check this out. Joe's here. Say hello, Joe.
Hello.
Hello, Joe. Now, who are we going to say hello to next? Now then, ladies and gentlemen, it's our great pleasure to reintroduce you to Derek McRoberts. Now, some of you will know him as Digital Pariah, but to his friends, he's Digi. Give it up for Digi, people! Yay! Digi!
Yay. Thanks very much for having us on, guys. Much appreciated.
Digi, you're here, you're with us. We reached out, and you were like, yeah, I'm totally up for that. And then we're like, is anybody else around? Let's really go have a deep dive with all of us into the psyche of a man who, 5 years ago?
Yeah, so we were year 5.
Year 5. All right. Who was on year 5 with you? Do you remember? I've got a list.
I do. It was myself, our good old friend Linton, Sam Linton, and it was the year he had his baby as well. Well, not him literally have the baby.
Oh my God, that is a
that's daily.
Miracle.
That's like Daily Star front page
Yeah.
sort of thing. But no, his wife had just had the baby, just as we started year of shame that year. Then there was Steve-O, good old Steve-O, Steve Advocate, Mr. Final Fantasy. And then, of course, how can you not mention Trevor? I mean,
Of course.
The legend.
My God, yeah, an utter legend. He made every single recording a pure joy.
And an editing nightmare.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I did none of the editing. That's the great
Was it
thing
all
about
Steve
that.
that did it all,
It was
wasn't
all
it?
Steve-O. Yeah, he took a
Poor
whole
bastard.
editing job on. So, yeah,
play.
audio, editing, the works, he took it all on. So we had quite an easy ride. We only had to alternate hosting nights, and that was it. So...
Yeah, that must have been a challenge, because talking to Trev in real life, I wish I could edit it, half of it out as well, actually, half the shit I said, and he said back to me. So to actually try and put out a professional recording, that's actually something quite special.
Every month when we recorded, it felt like propping up the bar at EJX, because that's what it was like. You would say one word or one phrase, and Trev would just... and he'd be off on one.
Got a story.
You just have
He
to stop
couldn't
and
tell you the
listen.
full details. Trev was always like, well, it's when I was, in Saudi Arabia, but I can't tell you all the details of that.
Yeah,
well,
let me
thanks,
tell
Trev.
you about the Russian guy I used to do bodyguarding with. He folded the guy into a suitcase. And
That's the one.
Okay, Trev,
That's a classic.
we're going to have to listen now. So,
Classic.
yeah, what a man. Sorely missed.
So 5 years ago, then, did you?
Yep.
Does it
Yep.
feel like that long? When Matt kind of reached out to you to see whether you wanted to jump in for today, did you kind of think back and think, crikey, it was only 5 years ago, or do you think, bloody hell, I'm so glad it was 5 years ago?
Well, interestingly, a lot of my habits changed after that.
Yeah.
So my gaming habits and my purchase habits completely changed. So I hadn't really thought about it, if I'm being brutally honest. I've still been participating in the community for Year of Shame, but I hadn't thought much about, what impact it had actually had on how my approach to gaming.
Yeah.
But yeah, looking back on it now, it's fundamentally changed how I think about, my pile of shame, which I can say is relatively low at the moment. I think
So
my pile of shame's about 20 games.
So it's
but
actually... Go on.
You've always been an absolute machine at getting through them, haven't you?
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes I think there's 3 digis that just play 3 different kind of platforms, because every single time I turn something on, Digi's on, generally. Or because achievements pop in or trophies pop in all over the place. So, yeah, you are... do you sleep?
I try and squeeze some time into sleep, yeah.
You can't see from the camera, but he's actually got a second set of arms. Like
Is it like Goro?
He's playing one
It's
now.
Goro! Yes.
Goro.
Brilliant.
Perfect. So it did change your... Because that's the thing is that immediately after A Year of Shame, you get that kind of euphoria of like, oh my God, I can buy video games again.
Oh, yeah.
But then, and we'll come back to what that felt like for you, I suppose. But the fact that you still looking back, you still feel that you're reaping the rewards of retuning your game buying habits. Then,
that's
totally amazing. That's really good. So, is it slowed you down? Do you think about new releases? Do you just buy everything day one, or how has it changed you?
So I was quite a completionist. I would always be the one going for the 100%, collect all the little things, do the second run throughs, do the new game pluses, and it got to the point where I was sitting looking at my pile and thinking, well, I've got all these great games with great stories that I'm not experiencing because I'm chasing around trying to find some feather up a fucking chimney somewhere across a map. And it's like, that's not fun. I'm not enjoying that. So I kind of cut out all the post-game crap and just said to myself, what doesn't matter to me? I've seen through the story and I've enjoyed the story that was being told, and that's enough for me now. Whereas before I was kind of, I have to get 100%, I want my platinum trophy, but now it just doesn't matter. It just goes, yep, that's me, I'm completed. Because the amount of games I started with that were had already been completed, but I had things I thought I had left to do. And it was about 70% of my pile was stuff that I was just saving to do those last mop-up things. And you're like, well, there's no point. So my first year I started with 600 games. By the end of the year I was down to about 150.
600
absolute machine.
Yeah, but a lot of that was just me going, do you know what? I've finished this game. I don't need to go back to it. So why is this on my list? And it's more about readjusting mentally about how I classified my games, I think, is what was the major change.
Was it because you were always after that platinum or that kind of 100%, do you think? Yeah. Was it the kind of the personal kind of achievement of getting that achievement, that full achievement house? Was that what you were chasing? Or was it because you felt that, you're not without doing everything, you'd not done everything? Like everything that everybody spent hard work and time and effort putting into?
So no, I think. Do you know what? I think we're getting into Psych 101 sort of stuff here. But what I think it's actually comes down to is my attitude towards games when gaming was new to me, and that was you would have 3 lives. You fail, that's it. So every game, I would only get one game every couple of months at that point. Back in the day when it was like Commodore 16 and Commodore 64. You wouldn't have very many games. So you milked everything you could out of that game. And that mindset just stuck for me, and I just continued on into the modern games, which no longer, kind of fit with that mindset. So that's where I think it all comes from, is back in the old days trying to complete Punchy and playing it for 6 months solid, one single game, and getting everything I can out of it. And I think that's where the mentality came from. So it's great to break that mentality and not have that anymore, because, God, it saves me a fucking fortune.
Saying about that milking it, that's how, I play a lot of retro and arcade and stuff. I only ever put 1 credit in now. I never use continues. It's kind of that same mentality, you just want to get good and milk it.
When you finish and get to the high score of them and you have your 3 characters, what do you enter?
Initials, DKS.
I guess it never quite clicked that that's why it was 3. I just thought it was 3 because that was how many characters you could fit on the LCD thing. But I guess it makes sense to use initials. I used to just put Matt because it fit. I thought, well, what if your name's Neale? How do you cope?
Well, that's the thing. I used to put my initials as well, so it was NLJ.
Mine was Dez, DEZ. It's just short for Derek. So
go on then, Joe.
Was that going to surprise anyone?
Cooper, you put cop.
I used to put Zam. I don't know why. Z-A. I thought it was the 3 letters you found the most interesting. ZAM. They're good, aren't they? Like Jam, but more spacey.
Some more space books about it.
Zam.
Zammo.
Just say that. No, I put Joe, didn't I?
Cool. Digi, I've got a question. I did write a few questions down that I thought might be of some benefits. So you'd have been playing mostly old school rules, and did that mean that you all gave yourself an allocated Joker?
Yes. So that was one Joker, one gift. That was the rules we were playing.
And what do you remember your Joker?
Yes. I do. It was Destiny 2.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, Destiny 2 at launch was my Joker.
Were you pleased with that?
Do you know what? Yes, at that time. So
It's
yes,
a lot of time you can spend on that game, isn't it?
Yeah. So I mean, the opening of the game is great. I loved the start of it. It was just the end game stuff didn't really kind of match the expectation of what the first game did. And the whole crap with microtransactions and all that just kind of turned me away from it. So I was like, you know what?
Activision.
I'm not interested.
Yeah, Activision.
Exactly. Turns out it wasn't Activision. So
Funny though,
yeah,
isn't it? That campaign has been completely removed. You cannot replay that Red War
such
campaign
a
anymore.
bizarre situation to be in. That if you have the original disc, that's what was contained was that campaign, and it's now been taken out of the game. It's so weird, so weird to me. But
Bizarre.
hey, they're doing their own thing. A lot of people love it. I know Neale's back into it, but yeah, for me it was like I'm done with big, immersive, massive games soaking up all my time, because they're the worst thing for this sort of thing when you're trying to clear a pile.
Yeah,
is those all-encompassing games.
It is a massive sinkhole of time, and you think you're gonna play it for a little while, and you end up playing it for too long, and then you just
It's
think
3 a.m.
you just think, well, I've got time. I should really play something else, but then you're like. No, but what if I'm missing out on something? What next drops? Yeah. So I get you. So that was your Joker then, was it?
That was my Joker. Yeah, my main Destiny 2 launched the year I did it. Horizon Zero Dawn launched the year we did it as well. That was painful for me because that launched in February, so that's right at the start of the challenge. And I'd expressed my interest in it and said how a lot of people are loving it and the community was going wild for it, and I was literally tearing at my hair. I did have hair then, actually, funnily enough. So yeah, that was tough for me that February with the launch and the whole buzz around it on Facebook at the time in the MLG group. There was so much love poured on that game, and I was sitting there going, I really want to play it. So yeah, it was tough, but. You get past it. You find something in your pile that you've been crying out for attention, and you sink your attention into that instead. That's the way I approached it. So,
well, that's going to happen again this February, isn't it? Because the sequel's out.
Oh, I am day one for that one this time.
Oh, you absolutely! You're not meant to come on here and rub us.
I'm sorry. I'm
Whoops,
sorry.
Swear jar.
But yeah, I missed out day one on it the first year, or the first game. So I'm not doing the same again this time. I will be day one for it.
I listened to the the intro episode, and you were talking about that, and you also talked about the Nier Automata big box collector's edition.
Big box.
Did
you get it? That's right. I had that on pre-order. No, I didn't. I cancelled those pre-orders. So I did actually cancel the pre-orders that I had for games that were due out the following year. Because I did have about 6, I think, pre-orders.
Oh wow,
placed.
that is a lot. Actually, yeah.
And then so I was like, but it was all like it's like Steve-O. It was collector editions. So it was like the models, the statues, the books, the collectibles, all that sort of stuff. I love that stuff. I've got a shelf full of it here from like Destiny, all of the Fallouts I've got sitting beside me here. So yeah, I've got a massive shelf of memorabilia and collectibles. So it's a big thing for me to miss out on that. That was painful as well, but it was for doing it for the sake of the challenge and to try and alter how I was. Well, I was approaching 700 games, so something I had to give.
So did you buy? Was that one of the first games you bought when you popped out of the in the following January?
January 1st. Oh yes, January 1st. So as soon as I was out of the challenge, that was one of I think it was 3 games I picked up over from the previous year that I picked up in January. A couple of them got in the sales. One of them was reduced price anyway, sort of thing. So I think I ended up spending about 60, maybe 70 quid for the 3 games that I'd wanted that had come out the previous year. And I would have spent that on each of them if I'd bought them day one. So yeah, you can automatically see where the benefits come in from not jumping in day one on a lot of games. So
exactly, good points.
All right, do another question.
Oh, God.
Should we have another question?
Go on then.
I put down, did anyone cheat? Or was there any, I don't know, contentious behaviour?
In our year, no. Not that I recall. Because, like I said, Linton had the baby to take care of, so he wasn't even getting much gaming time. In fact, he had to miss a couple of recordings, so he just new dad, me dead, sort of thing. So then Trev fell and broke his... it was EGX, and it fell and did in his shoulder, wasn't it?
His pancreas?
That's it. And then he got jaundice, didn't he?
Shoulder.
Yeah, from that.
It was shoulder at EGX.
He fell down into the subway, didn't he?
That's right.
Outside the Ibis budget, he fell all the way down the stairs.
Yeah, that's the one.
I
So
can
he was
remember- I
out
can
for
remember-
a few months as well.
I
that
just
year.
remember when he pulled himself into the pub after he'd done it, and he looked like death, literally warmed up. Oh. So there was no cheating then at all. So were you tempted at all? Were you close to kind of seeing whether you could bend the rules to your will?
No. We kind of all committed ourselves to sticking to the letter of the law, which is why Steve-O made it such a big point of when someone spent their Joker, because that was actually a more contentious point of our year than somebody cheating. It was like who's going to be first to drop their Joker, and that's kind of where it went. And it was Steve and his bloody klaxon was the first one to drop as well. So
which has become a staple of every podcast since, I think.
Yeah.
Since he's done that alarm bell, I think they've rang it every single time now.
Yeah, exactly. Got the klaxon. So yeah, it's nobody cheated. We all had kind of the same mindset when we went into it. It was a case of just reinforcing each other, because there were down periods where people were feeling the pinch, and we'd jump on and, like, for example, jump on a game that we all had on our pile, and jump in and, like, help each other through it to complete it. So that sort of thing was just boosted morale a little bit when people were flagging. So but apart from that, there was no real big challenges, if I'm being brutally honest.
Sweet.
So, I've got a question for you. Do you have a favourite memory of that whole year?
Oh God, I would like to see meeting up at Eurogamer that year, because that was a buzz. Getting to see all the games that were coming out next year and ones I could buy. So and meeting up with the guys, even with Trevor falling down and breaking his shoulder. It was still a brilliant weekend meeting up. So EGX and meeting up and not having to think about what games I'm missing, because what was on show was for next year was nice.
Do the rules apply while you're at EGX? Are you allowed to, as long as you don't spend?
Well, I mean, within letter of the
can
law,
play a
you can
demo.
play the demos, which is effectively what they are, but you're not buying the game, you're not committing any resource to it.
There's this
So-
little
You
thing
were saying you can't
happening
look
in
at a new
March.
game soon.
I know,
It's
it's like...
like slapping a copy of Edge out of your hand. Don't
Look
look at the
your
games.
eyes!
Are you thinking about games?
Yeah, you turn into the Nazi at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark or something when you look at a video game.
All I can think of now is Dave marching through the street with a bell going, shame! Shame!
Shame!
Shame!
Flagellating Jarrett again.
Yeah, that's not becoming a thing, by the way.
Hashtag.
Yeah, there's gonna be T-shirts made with a cat and nine tails printed on the back.
Well, there's an image. There's an image to go with it.
Yeah, there is definitely.
There's your next NFT.
Fucking hell. Oh god, there's a swear jar again. I'm gonna be broke. Right, any more questions, Matthew?
There was one from the community.
Oh,
I was-
excellent.
I was a little late reaching out to the Facebook group, but I did. We'll try and do it and give more notice next time. We got a question in from Purvis, Rich Purvis, indeed.
Oh, right.
So this is for you, Digi. If you couldn't game at all, what would you do with those hours?
Well, that
Game
is
at
an
all.
amazing question.
Oh, we'll have a think about this as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough one. 'Cause, I mean, I presume I would start up a new hobby, but
Yeah,
the question is
you'd have
what? You know, I've always fancied archery. That's something I've always wanted to try.
Yeah.
So
archery, as in, you see, I just sports like that. I just think I will end up hurting myself. I'll end up pulling the string off my finger.
Impaling
Like that. Yeah, exactly.
shooting into your foot.
Yeah.
I've got a bit of an
that-
archery confession. I've actually got Helen, my partner's dad, is big into archery, so I've got recurve bows in the garage that we've used before. It's out in a forest, and they have 3D targets of like bears and stuff that you go out and shoot. I'm rubbish,
So what
like
you're saying
absolutely
is-
rubbish, but
We're all going to get pissed up, come down to Joe's for the weekend and shoot each other.
All those drunk
Yeah.
stumbling
Macaulay.
about with recurve bows. I don't think that seems like a very good idea.
A bit like shoot arrows through bins. Do you know what I mean? Like build a crossbow. that
I
shoots
was
an arrow
thinking
through a
more
bin.
each other by the end
Oh,
of the
don't-
night if we're all sitting drinking.
don't ever take a crossbow there. They'd have you.
Cheating. That's cheating. That is.
Absolutely have you.
So I suppose that's my answer. Yeah, I'd probably look into taking up another hobby, something like archery. Or
It'd have to be another hobby. You'd have to fill
Yeah.
that void somehow.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you? You wouldn't be able to just basically. There's only so much shit TV your brain can take.
I got one for you.
Go on then, mate.
Magic.
Oh God, no.
Imagine if you spent all that time learning magic. You could be the new magician.
The new David Blaine.
I don't
I've
think
got
anyone
a
could
magician
reasonably.
friend, and
like,
he's-
Dave might be about to prove me wrong here. I just don't think anyone could reasonably spend a length of time with a magician and remain happy.
But in general.
Oh, my friend's amazing.
Debbie McGee, like you have to have that
Deceptionist.
character. Are you a bit of a Debbie McGee character, Dave?
Well, I can
weekends.
I can dance. No,
You can point at things, with both arms.
I've got some classic sequin dresses. So,
So he's one of your best mates, a magician, then, Dave?
yeah. He's quite famous. He's called
Oh.
the Deceptionist.
Oh, okay.
He's
Good,
he's
I'm-
regularly posting pictures of him all around the world with like famous people.
I thought you say.
yeah,
I
and
thought
he-
you say he keeps posting pictures of himself around the world while he's invisible.
He's
The
not
Emperor's
me
clothes
at the
kind of
pyramids. He's not me
I've made
on
myself
the moon.
disappear.
Are you entirely sure that like they are real and he's not just like the clues are there? Hi, Dave. I'm the deceptionist. Here's me with,
No,
Barack
it is
Obama.
The Photoshoptionist.
His only victim is Dave. He's the deceptionist. The only person he's
Are you paying him, Dave? Do you pay his? Is he like on some Patreon that you're feeding into? Let's hope
He's-
not, please.
He's playing the long con, isn't he? This guy.
Yeah.
It'll be a very long special.
He's working his way into Dave's life. How is this tripped into this conversation based on?
It's gone from
We're meant to be interviewing
Matt's
Digi
magic.
for crying out loud.
Matt's magic.
Can we have a podcast audio magic trick every show?
God, audio magic.
all right. See this, huh? And gone.
Oh my god!
Oh, how did you? No, seriously, how did you do that?
I did not see that. Wow.
That's a good question, though, from the community. Definitely from Peeves. That I think video games is a massive hobby for all of us, and it takes up a lot of our spare time. And when it encourages into your actual, when it's no longer a hobby and it actually becomes a passion, it's probably the reason why we're all here, because we've all got. It's become a passion that we need to kind of self-correct, I suppose, in a little way. So it's a really good question, and I think you're right, Matt. I think it's something that we probably could answer. All the kind of this year's hosts could definitely answer throughout the entire year what we plan to do with the kind of missed time. So I think, did I have a question? I can't even remember now. I'm sure I did.
Drinks getting
Well,
to him already.
Yeah.
One of the favourite questions I ever heard, apparently Bob Mortimer, upon meeting Sinead O'Connor, was at a loss of anything to say and said, have you got a nice local shop nearby?
It's important though, that isn't it? For the essentials and for bits, late night bits. That's where I got my wine tonight, from local shop.
I think we're all jealous of Digi's late night Gears and Beers kebab purchases.
Oh my god. It's
Yeah, okay.
I think
So
that's
it's not
the
that
reason-
good, to be honest.
the thing is, I think it's one of the reasons why I put on a least a stone in December.
Just by looking at it.
Just trying to, exactly, looking at it, trying to mimic it
Yeah.
with something, of equivalent. But absolutely amazing. So, it's changed your spending habits. So have you got more money? Have you spent, so obviously saving your spending habits, not spending games at day one, which seems to be the main core thing that you've come away with. Are you spending that spare money healthily on other kind of family reasons, or are you just going into more geekery? Is it more special editions?
50-50, thereabouts. Yeah. I mean, you do know the saga of me building my own PC last year. So that was, I think in total it was about 1,800 all in.
There you go.
So
That's
yeah,
a
it
couple
was
of
a
special
fair
editions
chunk of
right there.
change.
Yeah.
It's a fair chunk of change. So yeah, the money's been redistributed, shall we say?
Yeah, definitely. I think the only other question that I've got, and this might lead into kind of the kind of final strokes, is that what kind of, I mean, apart from myself who's done this before, what kind of words of advice would you give to, we're in month one, we've got a long time to go. Have you got any kind of sage advice you'd like to pass on to this year's participants and those guys?
Do you know what? Funnily enough, the thing that got me through a lot of games was actually advice that Matt gave, which is the 20-minute test. So many of my pile of shame that year only got the 20-minute Matt test. If it did not grab me in the first 20 minutes, it's off my pile. I don't care. It's gone. I'm never going to pick it up again. So I gave him a sniff test. So that's well worth doing. Just if you've bought it, it doesn't mean you have to play it. I think is one of the big things. You may have bought it as a spur of the moment thing, but there's so many games out there that you're not going to be at a loss for something to play. So why sink yourself into 40 hours of a game you hate just to get it off your pile? No, there's no point. Just put a line through it and move on.
Yeah.
And that's the best advice I can do. Yeah.
Trade it in,
Advice.
get rid of, don't worry about it. Sounds like decent advice to me.
We can't let him go without asking, would you do it again?
I'll be honest with you, I do it every year.
What,
so
are you in
it-
fashion? You say what?
I've got my spreadsheet from year one.
Okay.
I've updated yearly with the games I've bought, played, completed, anything that I've picked up on Game Pass or that. Now that they're a right pain in the arse for me for that, because
Game Pass
they
games.
give you so many games. But
Oh,
I mean,
it's about to get-
if
it's
they
about to
give
get
me
worse, mate. It's about to
if
get
they
worse.
give me 20 games, I'll probably only play 2. So as far as I'm concerned, I only have to actually record those 2. So I just ignore everything else. But yeah, I've been keeping my tally going for 5 years now in a spreadsheet.
Awesome.
With yearly tabs, calculations, the whole lot, the works.
That's
so I know
good.
my percentages. So I always try and I try and complete at least 2 games before I buy another new one. That's kind of the standard rotation I push myself into.
2 steps forward, 1 step back. Nice.
Yeah, so that at least continues to drive down my pile, make sure it doesn't start gathering up again, by just putting that little caveat on. And it doesn't matter how big or how small the game is. It could be an indie title, complete it, that's still a game completed. So yeah, it's about
Good man.
balancing it out. So I've been doing that ever since. So
Excellent
Yeah.
stuff.
that's
good.
like I say, clear through your pile and have a clear objective. Being realistic about what you want to achieve, because some people go in saying I want to complete all of these games, but you might not necessarily be able to get through all those games. So set realistic expectations on yourself. Don't try and
More
overpush
targets.
yourself.
Excellent
Love it.
stuff.
I love it. Tell you what, should we start wrapping this up? There's
Yeah.
one last thing though. Where can people find you? Have you got anything to pimp? What are you up to? Come on.
Oh jeez, I literally have nothing to pimp. I'm up to nothing. The writing's done. The podcasting's done. I'm just a general Joe Slob on the internet now.
And are you
So,
enjoying that fact?
yeah,
Are you
I'm-
enjoying just being kind of guilt-free and kind of task-free?
Do you know what?
It's nice at
You know
times,
me.
isn't it?
I love podcasting. It's a lot of fun, especially doing things like this with challenges and doing it with people that you generally have a good camaraderie with, and you get a good, get a giggle going. So I do enjoy that, and I do miss that somewhat. But yeah, it's nice just being able to just sit back and play whatever the hell I want to play. Not have to worry about reviews or playing through or
Deadlines.
timed exclusives. And yeah, I'm that part of my life is tied up with a nice bow. So I don't think I'll be back.
Do you remember having to look into like back end code in order just to change like an image on a carousel? Do you remember how hard that shit used to be?
Yes, so I remember all too well.
I haven't seen the conversations about that, and that was hard to even read, and mine do. Crikey.
Yeah, so...
Excellent stuff. Well, thank you, Digi. Really appreciate you coming along, mate.
Yeah.
We've really enjoyed it, and hopefully you have too.
Yeah, it's great to be invited back, and good luck, guys, as you venture forward. I look forward to hearing your missteps.
The swear jar will continue.
Yes.
Nice one, Dig. Thank
Take
you.
care, fella.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, buddy. Thank
Cheers.
you.
Sorry for slagging your mate off, Dave. I don't know him. I just decided.
I told him he's coming round to get you.
Yeah.
He's going to teleport.
He'll make your wife disappear.
I'll show you. Fucking.
He's going to saw
The
your wife in
Decepticon.
half.
What's he called? The Decepticon. It mainly stems down to, honestly, this is entirely personal. Once I wanted to get some eggs from Asda, and Dynamo the magician had closed the whole of Asda down. It didn't get me fucking eggs.
Since you've hated magicians.
Ever since, he's just got a burning
Cunts,
hatred.
aren't they? Not a lot.
Oh, here's a little story you might want to tag on the end. Do you know we play Gears and Beers
Hang on,
every week?
can I just stop you for a second?
Oh,
Is
fuck
there a rat
No,
murder going on?
There is no death in this one. It has got an unpleasant end.
Oh, right, okay.
So, Digi has worked out, well, apart from Digi destroys me at every game I ever play with him, he's now worked out I've got a superhero weakness, which is any first-person shooter. Just simply put it on double speed or maybe tweak the gravity and it makes me instantly sick within seconds.
All we can hear on a Friday is...
Yeah. So last
I guess it's
Friday,
a bit
he
too
set
fast
up a
then,
Halo
Dave.
map explicitly to destroy me, and I've puked in my own bin.
Your office bin.
Yeah.